Hey, welcome to week 52. Congratulations, you have made it through the entire year. God bless you. Have a great 2021.
See ya.
Hey, welcome to Core 52. This is the final week. Congratulations. If you've been watching all of these videos, you've made it to the end of the year. You're still watching. We're about to finish up, and today our topic is heaven. With me today is Michael. He is our student pastor here at Aldersgate. My name's Jason. I'm the worship pastor. We know that heaven can be a topic for discussion, let's say that. Some people have views that it looks this way and these things will happen. And then you read scripture and it can be confusing at times. And so we're just gonna try to process through this topic on a level that hopefully inspires you to engage with us a little bit, ask some questions, and we can kind of reach out and try to answer those as best we can. And so one of the things that I want to throw at Michael today, because I think a lot of us grew up, my wife calls it her pastels and puffy clouds view of the Bible. You know, like she said when she heard the story of Noah's Ark, she envisioned like animals like holding tails, like marching real sweetly into the ark, and then realizing later that it was like a massacre of the entire world. So like as you grew up, what was your idea of heaven as a kid?
Well, I think back of growing up. I grew up in the church, and so when you're in the church, especially as a child, you get a lot of cartoon-based ideas of who God is, and so you see all of these lovely animals being led into an ark, and it's beautiful, and you see Adam and Eve, and you see God, and you see Jesus. Like you see all these things, and it's very cartoonized, and it's made to make you feel warm and fuzzy. And so I think that translates into this idea of what heaven's like. So you think, okay, that God is up there, and there's a beautiful cloud, and these pearly gates, and everything is gold and shiny, and everybody is just in this utopian society of blissfulness, and it's very cartoonesque and not necessarily maybe real world, real people, live action type things. And so I think as a kid, that's my image of heaven, of this painted wall of Jesus, standing there welcoming you in the pearly gates, and Peter's checking off your name on the list, and just very family friendly.
Yeah. Well, and then as you grow up, you see cartoons, you see lots of movies that depict heaven sort of in that caricature type of way, but then you get into scripture and you begin to break down what the word actually says about heaven, and it's completely, like as I've gotten older, my view on heaven has completely changed. So what's changed for you as that view that you had as a kid to where you are now as an adult?
Yeah, I think the biggest way, I think that oddly enough, the view of heaven for me has changed is that I have no idea what heaven's going to be like. I read through and study what scripture says about heaven, and I'm more confused than I was kind of going into it. The one thing that I think stands out for me of like, hey, what I know about heaven is that I'm going to be in the pure, unblemished presence of God. Yeah. And I think for me, that's enough. And for a lot of people, they're like, no, I want more. Like, what's it going to look like? What are we going to do? Who's going to be there? Are my aunt and uncle going to be there? My mom and dad, my grandparents, like, they want to know the ins and outs. And I think as I've gotten older, been okay with the idea of I don't know exactly what it's going to look like or sound like or what we're going to do, but I'm going to be in the presence of God 24/7. Yeah. And that's enough for me. Yeah. But I know that a lot of times those depictions are, is it heaven for you? Because heaven for you may be different than somebody who they're expecting things that are different out of heaven.
Yeah, I think there are those things in scripture that we can latch onto. And I think, and I don't say this degradingly at all, but like caricature artists of heaven, when they talk about it, whether it's in song or whether it's in movies or in art, however they do it, we latch on to like God is the, typically like 3 times the normal size of a other person that has, gray slick back hair and a big beard and a booming voice. And they sit up on clouds on a golden throne, and you have like you said, the one set of gates with no walls,
yeah.
Right? No walls, but you go through the gates. And I think so that scripture has those bits and pieces of things that it lines out, streets of gold, right? Mark Moore, the author of the book that we've been going through, he actually talks about how there will be a new heaven and a new earth because the old ones had passed away, and the new Jerusalem will come down to earth, and talks about how our bodies will still be bodies. We will not just be entities floating around, but they're going to be without disease and without all kinds of painful things that we deal with with these bodies and on this earth. I think I'm with you. for me, I can sit there and nitpick all day long. In fact, when I was younger, Revelation was like the book everybody wanted to study because you want to know what happens. But the older I've gotten and the more I've become close with the Lord, the more I'm exactly where you are. I just want to be in his presence. And I think heaven is a difficult topic for us to break down, especially in a short video like this. But if we had hours, if we had weeks, if we had a year-long Bible study or video series just on heaven, we could go through all that and at the end of the day land right back where we are going, we don't honestly know. And that's really what I kind of hope that this series has been for you. I know it's been that way for me, is that it stirred up a lot of questions, which is good. I don't want you to be afraid of questions. Questions are what lead us to deeper truth and deeper truth. I chuckle at, when you have kids and they come to you and ask why, and you tell them why, and they, well, but why? And it's just continuing layers of going down. We're the same way with the Lord. We're the same way with Scripture. The whole point of the Core 52 book is to get you to dive deeper into Scripture, get you to read more, and in all of that, just spend more time with Him, which is preparing yourself for heaven. Yeah. Whether that looks like floating on clouds or whether that looks like something we can't even imagine in our own minds right now.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, it's very cheesy and cliche in our society, but I remember the first time that I heard Mercy Me song, I can only imagine. And it was the first time that I really processed, how am I going to respond? How am I going to react when I'm face to face with the God who created me, who loves me unconditionally? And if you're not familiar with the song, it has just kind of walks through this idea of like, hey, am I going to stay in your presence? Am I going to fall down? Am I going to sing? Am I going to worship? Am I going to be able to speak at all? And it's just this idea of we may never know the answer of how we're going to respond or what heaven's going to look like on this side of death, but we get an opportunity to bring heaven to earth in the ways in which we show love and the ways in which we care for the poor and we heal the sick, and we do the things that God has asked us to do while we're here on earth, and in those ways we get to bring a little bit of heaven to earth. And so I think sometimes we get so caught up in the, I just need to know the answer. And like you're saying, Core 52 was not about, okay, if I just get through this whole book, I'll know all the answers. And again, it sounds cheesy and cliche to say, but the answers are Jesus. The answers are in that relationship with Him, daily walking with Him and allowing Him to guide your life and allowing Him to direct your path. And in that, you live a life that honors God. Yeah. Not because you knew all the answers and you followed all the rules, but because you had a relationship with Jesus, and that relationship dictated the way you lived your life.
Yeah. So all that said, we're glad you've been on this journey with us for the last year, 52 weeks down. We're looking forward to the next year. We're looking forward to what the Lord has in store for us here at Aldersgate, but specifically for you as well. And we would love to hear from you. If you want to reach out to us at aldersgate.info, or if you want to leave a comment or send us a direct message, however you choose to connect with us, we would love to connect with you. We have enjoyed this journey with you. We hope that God has brought clarity to some things for you, brought questions to some things for you, but in all of it, that you're coming closer to Him in your journey. Y'all have a great week, and God bless.